I promise that I will increase funding for K-12 public education in real dollars every year I'm governor. No exceptions, no excuses. Our well-educated, productive citizens have always been the keys to our success. We must reinvest in better education, which will be the cornerstone for a better Minnesota. And I will do my best to lower tuition costs for Minnesota's college students and increase state funding for early childhood education. Defunding by the state of Minnesota of our public schools is the greatest tragedy of what's occurred under Governor Plenty. Well, I taught, my first job out of college, I taught in a public school in New York City. I taught 9th grade general science, although I had a lot of kids who couldn't read or write beyond the 2nd or 3rd grade level. I learned right then that I could not be an effective teacher trying to teach 32 kids in a classroom. So smaller class sizes. The best ideas come from the innovative efforts that the dedicated teachers and school administrators, school boards are already practicing, implementing throughout Minnesota. When I was a senator, I set up an excellence award for excellence in education because I felt the schools were being blamed unfairly rather than ever being recognized for the incredibly dedicated and creative and effective work that they were doing, teachers all over the state. And when you go into the schools, as I have, and I've been into a few hundred schools and a few thousand classrooms in the last decade in Minnesota, you learn firsthand what's going on. For example, with testing. Now, rather than, and I voted against No Child Left Behind, testing at the end of the winter or early spring and not providing the results of that test until the end of the school year, which is clearly then not designed to improve the performance of individual school children, the Lakeville School District, the St. Croix School District, and others are providing 1-minute reading diagnostic tests in the beginning of the year for first and second graders. In 1 minute, based on the number of words a child reads out loud, they say, you can determine where he or she is at grade level. And then, if they have the funds and resources to do so, they can design a remedial program, monitor, again with a 1-minute test on a Monday morning, and the child doesn't even know they're being tested, and in over 80% of the cases, those children are reading at or above grade level by the end of the school year. Those are the innovations that are critical. I tried 7 times in 6 years to get the federal government to fully fund special education. Republican candidates for governor are talking about 4 more years of the same policies. Ignorance and arrogance is a very dangerous combination in public policy making, and how a governor of the state of Minnesota could regret that he couldn't cut public education, public higher education, by more in Minnesota except for the prevention of the federal government, to me is just unbelievable. I strongly urge the governor and the legislature to balance the present budget deficit by raising taxes on the wealthiest 10% of Minnesotans, not by taking more money away from our public schools. We will get the state moving forward again if we make our taxes progressive again. Wealthiest 10% of the people in Minnesota are paying only 3/4 of their proportionate share of income in state and local taxes. The wealthiest 1% are paying only 2/3. That is fundamentally wrong. If I'm governor, that will change. That will raise over $4 billion in the next biennium.
We can do it.
Oh, there's no
if we
question.
put the resources, do it, provide the training to teachers, and make the commitment that we're going to do it. And that's a commitment I'll make as governor. And at the end of 8 years, you ask about my vision, we're going to have the best educated students, children, young adults, future leaders of this state and nation in the world.